In this video, I'm inviting you into one of our coaching meetings that is part of Transformational Thai Massage. Transformational Thai Massage is my certification and mentoring program, and this conversation was sparked by a question, which is, what do I do when I really don't feel like practicing or I really don't feel like giving the massage? The wisdom we shared here is practical, both to help elevate and take your massage to the next level, but also really to help take your life to the next level. So I really hope that you enjoy this. Check this out.
I feel like I know your answer, but the thing I'm struggling with lately is like being completely exhausted and not even wanting to like massage myself, and then like either wanting to massage someone else or like getting asked for a massage and just feeling like just so tired and exhausted. Like in theory, I want to say yes and I want to massage, and I'm sure it would be great for everyone, and I'm sure it could be positive, but I just feel like I'm just so tired. And just how to like deal with it's layered, but basically, like, what do you do in those situations when like you just can't even imagine like massaging another person?
Right. I mean, yeah, for me, one of the biggest things I think I've had to learn as an adult, as a human being in this world, is that self-love component and that kindness towards myself. And actually, learning from the experience of offering it to myself more and more, that when I can do that, then it actually, in the long run, makes it a lot easier to do the things that, I was beating myself up with earlier. So what do I mean by that is, like, at this point, if it's so clear to you that even though it'd be good for me and good for this person to get some practice in right now, but I am just so exhausted, and you're really clear that that's the state that you're in, then I think you need, if it was me, I would be giving myself permission to say no, and to honor where I'm at. And, and that's it, that's that moment. The interesting thing is that if you just give yourself that permission, you might feel very different in 5 minutes from then. You might not, and maybe that's just your answer for the whole night or the whole time that you're with this other person. But the truth is that when you do have more of that, knowing your boundaries and honoring it and working within it, there's medicine there, there's energy in there. And so it may literally change your whole feeling a little later. And that happens sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't, Or some days it happens and some days it doesn't. It's not saying no with expectations about what might then happen 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later. It's just honoring where you're at and being present and paying attention, And at the same time, what's tricky about it in this little dynamic, though, is, and this has happened to me many times, especially when I was, we talked a little bit about the breaks in between massages and stuff, and it's better to give yourself more breaks. And, now I'm in better shape. I'm in better massage shape than I was. But it's like I can remember, so when I first started out, pretty soon after I started out, the first year was a little different. But once I got to my second year, I was working at the massage school where I had learned anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week. Because I was learning how to teach at the same time that I had all my daytime duties. And then also I had clients in the evenings. So I would absolutely, there were times when I would go to that client's house, and, money is a good motivator, right? It's like, okay, that person's about to pay me enough money to, pay for my food for the next week or something. So I'm going to put this other person ahead of me, sort of thing, and I'll say yes and do it. And I would, and certainly I would do it. And so my point about that is to say that when it comes to really like the massage, if you have internalized the skills of the massage, and I know you're working on that, and like I said, the massage is about self-love and metta and kindness and compassion. It's the first kind of parts of the massage. And so my point is, like, there were times where I really, like I said, did not feel like giving this massage, but I had that motivator. I didn't want to let that person down, and I certainly wanted to make the money that I was going to get paid to do that massage. So I would force myself, and in that forcing myself feeling, it basically lasted for like 2 minutes. And if you can just kind of get over that hump of those 2 minutes, then the energy of the massage essentially would take over. And like I said, there's so much healing and so much, it's like how you feel in the moment. It's a very temporary thing. You can feel more tired the next moment, but you might not. You don't know necessarily how you're going to feel. So sometimes the massage really can be that. And then that's why, in some webinars over the years, I've reflected upon how I've really seen how Thai massage is a superpower. It's like, I can't believe how I feel at the end of giving that massage compared to how I felt at the beginning. If I would have just gone home, I would have just put my feet up and just sunk into a couch and been so tired and then gone to bed or something, or whatever. Done all the things that we do when we're tired at the end of the day. And then I go and give that massage, and I'm leaving that massage, and I'm feeling like I could do 5 more of these right now. It's like I have so much more energy. So massage can very much give you that energy, but I think it gives it to you more when you're in touch with how you're doing. So, like I said, there are going to be times where it's just so clear that I cannot do anything. I think you need to honor it. There could be other times where it's like, if I could just get over the hump, and actually, maybe there's actually a lot of good fuel here for me, and if I just remember that, and especially if you've had that experience happen to you at least once, then it can really, click in and know that, okay, I really don't feel like it, but I know what happened before, and I think it will happen again. I'm going to get my fuel from actually doing the massage, and so it'll be different. But, the thing is, when you do it in that second version, it is also very much to listen to your body. It's like, give yourself permission to take things out that you think aren't good for you. Maybe it's lifting heavy legs. Maybe it's asking for people to help lift their legs up when it's time to do something, if we're talking about that. Maybe it's taking out the entire seated section because I don't want to have somebody and their whole body weight resting on me right now. I just want to be able to sit next to them, lean in, and give a back massage literally just like this or something like that. I can walk on people's feet. I can do stuff that are much more on the effortless side, and then that's how I start to get that fuel. So, the choices about how you customize should very much be impacted and influenced by how you're feeling as well. So, how I think I learned which camp I'm in on which day and when am I going to say no, it to some degree, it's the inner work I've done to make room for my intuition to speak to me, and for me to know that I'm listening to my intuition versus I'm listening to my ego or, to my habits or something like that. And I think that, I think of that as like polishing our compass, developing the right side of our brain. And I know in your case, Eva, you don't have like the full Transformational Thai Massage program, or I have the course on inspired living in Thai massage, but really that's what that whole course helps you to develop, is first and foremost that conversation with yourself so that you can know if I'm talking to my intuition or am I talking to some other part of me, and kind of how you start to tell the difference, because it can feel very much the same, So I think it's a practice. You know, it's the right brain that we need to get in touch with more and more. So if you have right brain practices that you can engage in, that's going to help you to know how to know if you're hearing your intuition or if you're hearing something else. And meditating is like really the number one thing on the list for me. You know, and I know sometimes we're too tired to meditate. And truth be told, that's often one of the first things that a meditation teacher will say, that we have to kind of have some will to overcome, because, you know, our body gets in the way of these sort of ways of progress. So, you know, I hope this helps, but basically what I would say is, you know, the simplest thing is really just, if it, you know, listen, whatever it is you think you're hearing, honor it. And so in this case, you know, the way you laid it out, to me, it seems pretty clear. It's like, even though it's good for me, I don't want to do this massage. So do that, you know, and then, but don't end the conversation internally there. I would say you just keep paying attention and be like, well, first of all, like I said, a few minutes later, do I still feel that way? Well, then good. Honor that. Next day, you know, like honestly, this is a conversation I could have had with myself that could go on for more than a few minutes, where it's like, I really need to pay attention to that subtleness of like, is it really my intuition or is it something else that was convincing me of that? And if I'm not sure, then that's where I know I have more work to do, like in my practices of things like meditating and stuff like that. If I am sure, perfect. I can honor that and work from that place, you know. So just keep paying attention. And I do feel like the guidance that comes from your intuition has a certain feel to it, has a certain quality to it. And guidance that comes, let's say, from your ego, for, you know, lack of a better word, also has a quality to it. And it can be hard to decipher and what it feels like in the moment. But with some practice, and especially with the right brain practices that I'm talking about, then you start to know the difference. And I do think of it as like polishing a compass. And then that intuitive side has more, you know, can come through more clear. And I saw you commented, you know, that you really think that what I said, you love my ideas. So I appreciate that, Eva. It's great.
I just want to say, sometimes our language or what we say out loud affects our energy, our mood. And sometimes we'll tell ourselves, like, say you have to clean your house. You'll say, oh man, I got to clean my house. I have to clean the house. But if you reframe that and say, I get to clean my house, right? I get to live in a clean environment where it brings me joy and peace. You know, it can take that burden that, oh, I have to, right? And so instead of saying, oh, I have another massage to do, I have another hour to go, you know, if you reframe that and say, oh man, I have one more hour of love to give to somebody else and to myself at the same time, I get to give love to somebody else. And so replacing I have to do something with I get to can just change the whole energy of how you're feeling about that particular situation. And it can help get you, like you said, over the hump. And so I find a lot of times I go throughout my day and I'm like, oh man, I got to do this. And then I'm like, nope, I don't got to do it. I get to do it, right? And I have to change my attitude about it and say, I get to take my dog out for a walk and get a walk and walk myself and get some exercise. You know, I get to care for my mother in her elder years, you know, and so sometimes we can allow things to feel like a burden. And so to take that away, just change our language a little bit and say, I get to do this. You know, and what a privilege it is. I get to do it. And it helps. It helps me anyway.
Well, I think that's such a profound, wonderful truth you just shared, Candy. You just brighten everybody's energy just with that insight. It's beautiful. And I got to add a couple more things that you sparked in me. So first of all, thank you. And, you know, you helped me remember the word I was thinking of before with Melissa, which is like psychosomatic. And you just proved it right there, you know? It's like if my thought is one way, my energy is one way. If my thought is another way, my energy is another way. And it all starts with a thought. So in those thoughts, there is energy to be found, you know, in our actions as well, I guess is what I was also getting at. There is energy that can be found. And so it's just beautiful how clearly and simply you put that. It is perfect. And so yeah, like what to kind of add to what you're saying, you know, again, a little story or a little image, you know, where I said like you got to get over the hump those first 2 minutes, or just changing your language around something. You see how it just changes your energy instantly. So it's kind of like we need those rocket boosters, that little jet fuel at the beginning to propel us, for then, like, you know, gravity or energy to kind of take over. Like, I think that that vision of a rocket that goes up into the sky, it's like, yeah, it needs all that propulsion at the start. It gets high enough, then the amount of energy to keep going is so much less, you know. And it's the same thing. Just changing your language like that, that's the propulsion that changes my energy. And from there, you know, you have so much more energy waiting for you. So what a simple, beautiful, you know, teaching you just offered. So thank you.
So this conversation came from one of our live meetings. It's part of the Transformational Thai Massage program, and we meet live every week to help address any questions that are coming up, not only as you learn, but then as you apply it into every aspect of your life. If you want to learn more about Transformational Thai Massage, then check out this link down below. We can also meet one-on-one to help answer any questions that you may have and see if you're the right fit for this program. And if you want to check out more Thai massage, then check these out next. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, then please post them down below as well. I look forward to meeting you down the road real soon. Wishing you amazing massages. Namaste.